Going on now at the Beaverton Home Club.
The Home Club family.
Do it for less.
Denise can kiss this date goodbye tonight on Cosby.
Dozens killed as Colombia's drug barons terrorize voters. Gorbachev foe Boris Yeltsin grabs for power on the summit's eve. And new details about what may have caused the USS Iowa explosion.
NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening, I'm Jane Pauley sitting in for Tom Brokaw. In Colombia tonight, the drug terrorists are running wild. With national elections scheduled for Sunday, the country's drug bosses have intensified their own campaign of bloodshed. In just 24 hours, more than 40 people have been killed by bombs and bullets. This comes as U.S. military advisors are getting more deeply involved in Colombia. NBC's Ed Rabel is there.
For Colombians, this is the drug war. In the past 24 hours, 8 dead in this bomb blast. The bodies of 5 others, hands manacled, blindfolded, and shot at close range. 16 others were killed during the night of violence in Medellin. In Bogota, police rounding up hundreds of suspects, a preventive measure. Police are worried about new threats from the drug bosses to disrupt the elections. Police blame drug traffickers for the climate of terror just 2 days before Colombia's presidential elections. A stepped-up campaign of violence to keep the voters from the polls. Colombia's tough anti-drug candidate, Cesar Gaviria, is the front-runner. He's also the #1 target of the drug cartels.
We are doing this because we feel we have to do it. It's a matter of principles.
Political leaders welcome the stepped-up U.S. military assistance in the drug war. But they say U.S. servicemen could become targets because the U.S. is increasing the number of American personnel assigned here. Approximately 80 so far, they say. They confirmed the extraordinary scope of the U.S. military commitment here. Americans are training Colombians to operate AC-47 aircraft against the traffickers. They're building new radar sites and instructing Colombians to track the drug planes. And elite Colombian anti-drug forces are being trained by teams from the U.S. Army, the Navy, and the Marines. U.S. officials insist the Americans will not be at risk because they are here strictly as instructors, not as combatants.
They won't be going out on operations to take on the traffickers. They won't even be serving as advisors as they do in El Salvador.
What is more, Colombia says it does not want U.S. combat troops here to fight its drug war. But there is this. While the U.S. military carries out its main mission here of stopping the flow of cocaine to the U.S., Colombians are dying by the hundreds. Ed Rabel, NBC News, Bogota.
U.S. drug agent Enrique Camarena. Ever since his torture and murder 5 years ago, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration has pursued his killers. It admitted today that it had paid $20,000 for the abduction of a Mexican doctor charged in Camarena's murder. The DEA said money was paid to the kidnappers but denied it was reward or bounty. As Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev prepares to go to the summit in Washington 5 days from now, his troubles at home just get worse. The independence movement in the Baltic republics won't go away. The economy won't go at all. And now his strongest opponent may be getting a new power base. NBC's Rick Davis reports.
If Boris Yeltsin is elected president of the Russian Congress of Deputies, it will be a major political blow to President Gorbachev. Victory would make Yeltsin political boss of the largest of the 15 Soviet republics, with half of its people and 2/3 of the land. The vote followed a Yeltsin speech attacking Gorbachev for indecision and inconsistency. In a rolling bass voice, he called for a resolute, bold, charge-ahead policy, a free market economy, but without lowering the nation's standard of living. If some parliament members wondered how there could be reform without pain, they were not saying so. The mine workers in my area want Boris Yeltsin, this member said. A priest added, a vote for Yeltsin is a vote for democracy. If Boris Yeltsin is elected, President Gorbachev's political enemy will be a political power. And Gorbachev has other problems. Even his limited economic reforms calling for higher prices are causing a run on stores. The government has announced huge price increases for some products. Gorbachev's prime minister, Nikolai Ryzhkov, said he would resign if he failed to get backing in the Soviet parliament for his economic policies. Bad news on a day when Gorbachev was working on his world image, meeting with French President Francois Mitterrand prior to next week's summit with President Bush. But a news conference was dominated by questions about internal problems, the economy, and the call for independence in the Baltic states. Gorbachev accused Lithuania's leaders of not giving him any gifts before the summit. He called their rejection of his offer, allowing secession in 2 years, an act of political adventurers. Gorbachev goes to the summit, a weakened man at home. Rick Davis, NBC News, Moscow.
A senior administration official says that Gorbachev will probably bring along a surprise to counter that negative image. NBC's White House correspondent John Cochran is told that Gorbachev might soften Soviet positions on German unification, European arms control, or Lithuanian independence, all intended to show he is still in control of the Soviet Union. Still ahead on NBC Nightly News, the mystery deepens over that deadly gun turret explosion aboard the USS Iowa. And Bob Kerr reports tonight on alcohol advertising and why those ads may soon warn people that drinking can be harmful to their health.
This guy tells me he had a GM car 5 years ago, and he knows all about GM, right? Well, I tell him wrong.
GM cars have a whole new standard of dependability and trouble-free performance.
Everything has changed around here. Quality is getting better and better.
We're putting quality on the road today.
It's the best territory. First Interstate Bank territory. Because with a First Interstate Bank card, you can get cash anytime, day or night. From Washington, D.C. to New Mexico, Colorado to Nevada. In fact, all across the U.S. with Cirrus ATMs. So get a First Interstate Bank card and cash in on our territory. First Interstate Bank, we go the extra mile for you.
Congressional investigators told the Senate Armed Services Committee today that the gun turret explosion aboard the USS Iowa may have been an accident, not sabotage. Yesterday, the Navy announced it is reopening its investigation of last year's explosion, which killed 47 servicemen. NBC's Pentagon correspondent Fred Francis reports.
Chairman Sam Nunn said the Navy's case that one lone sailor caused the Iowa disaster was badly flawed.
The Navy's conclusion that the explosion was the result of a wrongful intentional act is not supported by reliable, probative, and substantial evidence.
And while the Navy took it on the chin from politicians, family members, and scientists for pointing the finger at 24-year-old gunner's mate Clayton Hartwig, the scientists emphasized that their theory was only a plausible cause.
We think it's a possible scenario.
Would you say that it would be fair to say it's a probable scenario?
I don't think that we can say that.
The scientists from the Sandia National Laboratory said they were able to create an accidental ignition using great force against gunpowder bags, adding that if the gunpowder bags inside the Iowa's gun turret that fateful day were rammed into the gun at great speed, an accidental ignition might have occurred.
I think it raises the possibility of an event occurring due to this mechanism. However, it clearly was a very severe test.
The Navy has been deeply embarrassed by the criticism and refused to speak publicly today. But Navy sources said the Sandia test in no way replicate the Iowa explosion. It continues to be the Navy's theory that gunner's mate Hartwig intentionally placed a homemade detonating device here, between bags 1 and 2 that day, then ordered the bags rammed into the gun deep enough to activate a detonator.
What they found to be strong evidence, you found to be inconclusive.
That's correct.
For Hartwig's sister, it meant vindication.
I've been saying right from the start that my brother was only a victim, as the other people were, and I hope that after today, this will really get rid of any doubt that's left in anyone's mind.
However, senior Navy officials say tonight they still have serious doubts that a wider examination of the tragedy will ever turn up conclusive evidence of how the Iowa sailors died. Fred Francis, NBC News, the Pentagon.
An Air Force pilot died today when his F-16 crashed into a residential area of South Georgia. Also killed was a woman on the ground. The plane crashed while on a training flight. One witness told police it seemed to explode in midair. 6 houses were destroyed or damaged. Police say the woman who was killed was a house cleaner making her weekly visit to a client's home. In Oakland, California tonight, 2 radical environmentalists are under arrest, suspected of possessing explosives. Their car was ripped apart by a bomb. They claim they are victims, not criminals. More from NBC's Jim Cummins.
Daryl Cherney and Judy Berry were injured by a pipe bomb that blew apart their car in downtown Oakland. Cherney and Berry are leaders of Earth First, a radical environmental group that has declared war on the logging industry. The police claim this van near the bomb scene also belongs to the group. The bomb squad found a suspicious package and detonated it. Today, police arrested the 2 environmentalists for possession of an explosive device.
We suspect they were in possession of the device with intent to use it, but we don't know in what form that use would take shape.
Other members of Earth First vow to camp outside police headquarters until Berry and Cherney are released.
I'm saying for sure they wouldn't have put the bomb in the car, or they wouldn't have had anything to do with bombs anywhere on Earth.
Berry and Cherney claim they've received numerous death threats because of their environmental activism. Police say they've investigated those and have no other suspects in the bombing. Earth First! There is no question that members of Earth First are radical.
I'd give up my life to save a tree.
They block roads, chain themselves to logging equipment, drive steel spikes into trees to break the saws. They have made enemies in the logging industry.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with you people. Are you crazy, on drugs, or what?
Berry once claimed her car was run off the road by a logging truck. She and Cherney were in the Oakland area to drum up support for Redwood Summer, a campaign to slow timber cutting in Northern California. Their supporters claim the bombing was an attempt to discredit that campaign. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Oakland.
An urgent warning tonight about global warming. United Nations scientists say a dangerous warming trend is already underway and must be stopped. The report will increase pressure on President Bush to take action on carbon dioxide emissions to curb the greenhouse effect. British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher urged a giant international effort to deal with the global warming threat.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
The airline that brings you 10 countries across Asia and the Pacific now bridges the Atlantic to Europe with service to Frankfurt and Paris soon to follow. Come fly the airline that spans more than half the world. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
A shame. It will never catch on in America. And the taste is incredible. But you'll never get past the name. Muslix is too European. You Americans like labels. Shredded wheat, cornflakes, no surprises. This taste is always a surprise. It's crisp, nutty, and sweet with fruit. Oh, much too exotic for the American palate.
Kellogg's Muslix. Over 50 million boxes sold in America.
President Bush called the new presidents of Nicaragua and Panama today to tell them that millions of dollars in emergency aid will soon be on the way. Overnight, Congress approved $300 million for Nicaragua and $420 million for Panama. Bush said he'll sign the aid bill as soon as he gets it. The UN Security Council met today in Geneva, something it has never done before, just so that it could hear from PLO leader Yasser Arafat. It is the first time Arafat has ever addressed the 15-member Security Council. He said UN troops are needed in the Israeli-occupied West Bank and Gaza Strip to protect Palestinians. And Arafat urged sanctions against Israel for what he called a war of extermination. Israel called Arafat's proposals totally unwarranted and said it would not permit any UN observer force into Israeli-occupied territory. Chinese Premier Li Peng said today that President Bush's decision to renew China's most favored nation trade status could help in repairing Chinese-American relations. They were strained by the Tiananmen Square massacre a year ago. But as NBC's Keith Miller reports, the Chinese leadership shows no sign of easing its grip on the people.
We are an irresistible force, sing these soldiers of the People's Liberation Army. We are the hope of the people. They are also a reminder that the Communist Party is the absolute authority in China. Just a year ago, there were doubts that the party could survive at all. A year after the massacre in which hundreds of people died, the Communist Party is still struggling to restore the credibility it lost by ordering troops to open fire on civilians. And the power struggle that began last June continues, with none of the new leaders emerging as popular with both the army and the people. Prime Minister Li Peng, a hardliner, has not gained a following among the masses. And the new Communist Party boss, Jiang Zemin, lacks the broad-based support necessary to keep his position secure. Deng Xiaoping, at 85, is still considered the country's paramount leader. Many people say that when Deng dies, the party leadership will collapse.
I'm sure if Deng Xiaoping died today, within 5 days, there'll be some kind of riot or something going on.
State-controlled newspapers are full of articles intended to boost the people's confidence in the party. Even party officials are back in the classroom studying a course called The History of Scientific Socialism. The 4-month re-education is mandatory, and to party officials, indispensable.
Do you think the workers need to be reoriented?
Yes, especially after last year, after the turbulence, the riots. Some workers developed very vague ideas about socialism.
These days, the Communist Party is trying to appear popular, but only the army can be counted on to be loyal. In the absence of a new and popular generation of leaders, securing the loyalty of the people has become a challenge to the Communist Party. Keith Miller, NBC News, Beijing.
Did you know that if your business isn't using AT&T, your long-distance company could be wasting your time? Other long-distance companies take over 40% longer than AT&T to connect calls. And all those extra seconds spent waiting can add up to hundreds of lost hours. So many hours, it's like paying someone to sit around for over a month to do absolutely nothing. Productivity, another AT&T advantage.
When choosing a new car, don't compromise. Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme SL is longer and wider, yet accelerates faster than Ford Taurus. It's more powerful, yet gets better highway gas mileage than Honda Accord. And it has a better owner satisfaction plan than both. Which obviously makes Cutlass Supreme the smarter choice. All the way around.
This is the new generation of Olds.
It's here. Color Tile's incredible Memorial Day sale. Save up to 65% on a great selection of our best items. For the first time, every square yard of DuPont Stainmaster carpet is up to 40% off, including installation. Decorator ceramic tiles for walls or floors from just 59 cents each. Save on Armstrong no-wax floors from just $2.97 a square yard. And wall coverings up to 65% off. Plus, no payment for 90 days. All at Color Tile's incredible Memorial Day sale. Hurry, only till Monday.
Introducing a remarkable new Fix-A-Dent.
At last, an adhesive that doesn't quit at quitting time. Wait up, guys!
This new Fix-A-Dent holds stronger. 4 hours longer than any other cream adhesive. Fix-A-Dent and forget it all day into the night.
Liberty Mutual presents the automobile accident that never happened. In helping to pioneer safety belts, we made driving safer for everyone.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
On the eve of this holiday weekend, safety officials are warning, don't drink and drive. Alcohol is involved in about half of all fatal highway accidents. Alcohol is also involved in up to half of all drownings. Soon, all ads for alcohol may have to include a warning that drinking is harmful to your health. NBC national correspondent Bob Kerr reports.
So, there are no men here, there's an unlimited supply of Bud Light, and we can never leave.
Correct.
Because the fantasies beer ads depict ignore what is often the reality, new efforts are underway to require ads for alcoholic beverages to tell about the downside, too, the ruined lives.
Put down the brush. No, sir, I will not.
Residents in some cities are not waiting for Congress to act. They're destroying billboards that promote drinking in their communities. Investigators from the Federal Trade Commission infiltrated the annual College Beach Week in Florida and were surprised by beer company promotions they say could influence underage students. For now, FTC officials are seeking voluntary changes by the alcoholic beverage industry.
We're really talking about important changes in the way beer is marketed and wine and other products.
Senator Al Gore and Congressman Joe Kennedy have introduced bills to require health warnings in alcoholic beverage ads.
Bud Light! A clean, fresh taste of Bud Light.
Under the Gore-Kennedy bills, ads like this would have to include one of 5 warnings: that drinking during pregnancy may cause birth defects, that alcohol impairs ability to drive, may be hazardous when used with other drugs, may be addictive, and is illegal to buy for anyone under 21.
Now, why would anybody pay for an ad like that?
Beer industry spokesman Jim Sanders.
They are dictating to you what you're going to say in an advertisement that you pay for. And that is fundamentally wrong. It won't work.
There'd be fewer televised games, according to some media and ad executives, if beer makers decided to stop advertising rather than insert warnings. Under pressure, the beer industry hopes to head off restrictions with what it calls responsible ads.
Know when to say when.
Be responsible. Think when you drink.
Critics argue that's not enough.
Think when you drink doesn't tell a woman who's pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant about the dangers of drinking during pregnancy.
There is no hard evidence linking advertising and drinking. Still, many personal tragedies have made alcohol abuse an emotional issue. And even industry officials concede it may be difficult for them to prevail in the upcoming congressional debate. Bob Kerr, NBC News, Washington.
Elvis Presley's death 13 years ago was a suicide, according to author Albert Goldman. Goldman, who called it an accidental drug overdose in a controversial 1981 biography, says in Life magazine that he's now convinced that Presley deliberately consumed a deadly combination of drugs the day he died. The official cause of death is listed as heart attack. And the Tennessee woman who won custody of 7 frozen embryos in a landmark divorce case last fall has had a change of heart. Now remarried, Mary Sue Stowe wants to give the embryos away so that another childless couple may use them. Her ex-husband, Junior Davis, vows to fight it.
$10 million from American Family. All the money you need for luxury cars like these, the magnificent home, the life of your dreams. And still have millions left over. Just weeks from now, I'll announce the winning number. It may be in your mail right now. Return it in time, and you'll be a millionaire 10 times over. Only in the sweepstakes with my picture. Be sure it has my picture. American Family, the only one that can make you so rich so soon this summer.
Jake and Blake awake to Kellogg's Oat Bake.
Jake?
Yes, Angel Cake?
Why is it milk you forsake when you partake of oat bake?
I love Oat Bake straight. Does that aggravate?
No, no, my little potentate.
May I demonstrate?
How considerate. Raisins, nuts, and spices predominate.
So you appreciate?
Well, I didn't anticipate that a cereal straight would taste so great.
In milk or straight, Oat Bake tastes wonderful.
Huh?
I mean great. Oat Bake tastes great.
First rate.
The Volvo 240 does a fine job of surviving accidents. But the Subaru Legacy with four-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes reminds you the best way to survive an accident is not to get into one.
Kmart predicts a cool summer with this Coleman Polylite Cooler. The quality you need at the price you want. $16.96.
Hal and Mary Longer lost everything when Hurricane Hugo hit their Caribbean island of St. Croix 8 months ago, including their faith in their fellow islanders. When their candy and tobacco store was plundered by looters, they decided to give it up and go back to the States. And then something remarkable happened. NBC's Bob Dotson reports.
This island was Mary Longer's dream.
We wanted a house with a breeze, which we got. Watch what you pray for.
She and her husband Hal moved from Iowa and bought this little shop when the sky was like a sailboat, scarcely moving. Then came Hurricane Hugo. What the winds didn't take, looters did. The Longers decided to leave St. Croix.
My mother wanted me to move to North Dakota where it was safe.
But Hal came across something astonishing. 24 IOUs tucked in the rubble of their store.
The man wrote on there, he said, I took 4 boxes of cigars. I'm one of your regular customers, and when I see you, I'll pay you. He signed his bill. On the back of the envelope, another note, I took some too.
Then other neighbors started dropping by. A college professor, a lawyer, even a territorial senator, to confess they too had taken things and wanted to pay for them. One man had stolen a single piece of candy.
He came in one day and said, I owe you for a chocolate-covered cherry. I looked at him kind of funny, and he said, one of the days right after the storm, my wife said to me, have you eaten anything today? And I said, no. And she started scolding me, and there was this chocolate-covered cherry still all wrapped up, and it had washed out the store, so I picked it up and ate it.
When Hal tallied up what people said they owed, it came to $500. Every IOU but one has been paid in full. That didn't come close to covering their losses, but the Longers were touched by the unexpected honesty.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
They are now determined to stay.
I think we could have ran and left and survived very well. But there again, where else would we want to go?
They've already found an island with a conscience. Bob Dotson, NBC News, St. Croix.
And that's Nightly News for this Friday. I'm Jane Pauley for Tom Brokaw. Garrick Utley will be here tomorrow night. I'll see you again Monday night. Have a great holiday weekend. Good night.
Baywatch is back tonight at 8. Then Barbara Eden is Kathy, a working girl with a dream fantasy.
You are so beautiful.
What will happen if he discovers the secret life of Kathy McCormick tonight?
Sunday, on the eve of the Washington summit, we'll look at the issues facing the superpowers with one of President Gorbachev's closest advisors, Alexander Yakovlev, on Meet the Press.
Melvin! Melvin! It's cold in here!
Coming, Miss.